Today is March 17, St. Patrick's Day. And here is my Wednesday's word for this St. Patrick's Day. Especially in America, this day has become a good excuse for wearing green, dyeing rivers the color of emerald, and much drinking of intoxicating beverages. What's ironic about all this is the real St. Patrick would not approve of such debauchery. In real life, back in the 5th century, he was a man of a mystical kind of faith that drove him to sacrifice and much prayer. The true story of his life is much more interesting than the mythical one people celebrate today. First of all, Patrick was not Irish, and his name was not even Patrick to begin with. Born Maewyn Succat in northern England, he was a citizen of the Roman Empire, which controlled the country of England at that time. He didn't speak with an Irish brogue either. His language would probably have been Latin. Captured by Irish raiders when he was 16, he was taken to Ireland as a slave. 6 years later, he escaped from his Irish master because he had a vision, actually 2 visions, which directed him to walk 200 miles to the nearest port. There he persuaded a ship's crew to take him on board, and he returned home to England. Decades later, he would return to Ireland as a missionary, with a vision to convert the pagans of that land to Christ and to build churches there. Historians tell us that Patrick may have been the first Christian missionary to go beyond the reach of Roman authority and law. For over 30 years, he preached, baptized converts, and built churches across Ireland. And in spite of the popular myth, St. Patrick did not drive the snakes out of Ireland. You see, there were none there when he got there. A bold and fearless preacher, Patrick stood strong against slavery, no doubt in part because of his own history of being a slave. One of his writings, which survives until today, is Confessio, in which he condemns bondage, especially the bondage of women. He was an early abolitionist, and no doubt his influence was, in part anyway, responsible for Ireland becoming one of the first nations to abolish the slave trade, and they did this by the time of his death. His writings and his missionary endeavors in Ireland are also credited with the preservation of much of the early writings of the Christian church. A bold and unselfish missionary called by vision from the Lord, St. Patrick is certainly one of the great heroes of the church. He was a self-confessed man of prayer, stating in one place that he prayed 100 prayers a day, and that many again at night. No wonder he changed an entire country. He is worthy to be celebrated and remembered, but maybe not with the drunkenness and debauchery that we have today. As American believers, let's follow his example. He prayed for a nation, and God gave him his request. On this St. Patrick's Day, America sure needs prayer, maybe now more than ever before. Would you join me in praying for our nation, for our government, and for a revival to again sweep through our backslidden country? St. Patrick showed us that God does indeed answer those kinds of prayers. So, let me say on this day, Happy St. Patrick's Day. And let me close this message with an old Irish traditional blessing which says, May your troubles be less, your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. May God bless you and keep you is still my prayer.